Hey everyone, I'm excited to be here at the Benzinga Titans AI Summit. Today, we are joined by one of the largest technology companies in the world to hear what they have been doing in the AI sector and what they have planned for the future. Joining us today is NAKUL DUGGAL, the Senior Vice President and General Manager, Automotive and Cloud Computing at Qualcomm Technologies, ticker QCOM. NAKUL, welcome to the event.
Chris, great to see you again.
Awesome. Well, let's dive in and hear all about AI, this trending topic this year. So, in the recently reported quarter, Qualcomm said the use cases of AI are wide for the company. Can you share some examples of use cases for AI for Qualcomm today and in the future?
Yeah, it's really incredible how much AI has just become part of the vernacular nowadays. It's just something that everybody's been talking about. Look, in our business, we are a company that ships billions of devices every year in terms of the number of intelligent edge capabilities that we have to be able to enable. This is something that we've been doing for a very long period of time. And as edge devices become intelligent, the one thing that AI is doing is it is making experiences, making workflows, making specific use cases that human beings, machines are implementing on a daily basis much more simpler, much more context specific. We've been doing this for a very long time. I run the automotive business, and as you know, in automotive, driver assistance and automated driving are edge AI use cases on steroids. You really have to be able to perceive your environment. You have to be able to make split millisecond decisions on the action that you're going to take, and then you have to feed that back in. So this is something that is part and parcel of a lot of what we see in automotive. But if you think about just the broad consumer use cases, there is just so much going on. When you take a picture, you want to be able to make sure that it is more realistic. It is set around the context that you were trying to take it within. You have to have the option to be able to change it. If you look at a Teams call nowadays or a Zoom call, you want to be able to make sure that the context of the Zoom call, whether it is unwanted noise in the background or the way that somebody is appearing, all of those capabilities, all of those enhancements are improved continuously through AI. And that's possible because there is just this very tight implementation of how use cases are using hardware at the edge powered by AI. That's something that we've been in the middle of for a long time.
Awesome. Now, as we know, there's many players in this growth of AI, and Qualcomm believes it could be best positioned for leading a transition to an AI-driven world. What goes into this confidence that Qualcomm has about the future?
Yeah. So, we've been in this business for a very long period of time, and every trend that we have seen, what ends up happening is you want to be able to implement intelligence at the edge. So let's take the example of generative AI, which is basically how do I intelligently create content or improve experiences that are text or textual in nature or image-based in nature. What I initially start off doing is to be able to connect into the cloud, get the cloud to do a lot of that processing, and then receive a response back at the edge. Well, you can do that up to a certain point. Eventually, what you have to do is to be able to optimize that experience, which means you have to be able to run it locally. Now, if you think about the latest trend in AI, which is generative AI, what that means is I want to be able to have locally within my environment, whether it's my phone, whether it's my car, whether it's my PC, the ability to host an AI model that allows me to be able to optimize my experience in a secure, private, real-time nature as much as possible. And if I have to offload to the cloud, then I can. This is going to improve the overall economics. It's going to improve privacy concerns that people have in terms of their data. And it is certainly going to be able to improve latency. And this is something that we are seeing as a trend that is exploding across every single market we are entering, because massive models are being built, but then they're being miniaturized to be implemented on a much more local footprint, which is something that we are very good at, because we are really very good at being able to scale use cases that are optimized for the edge.
Love that. So the automotive segment saw strength and growth in this most recently reported quarter. What went into that division's success?
Yeah, see, automotive for us has been a really great story. I think one thing that we did early on with automotive was to really understand the challenges and complexities that the industry was facing at the level of the car. So, while we are a semiconductor supplier, the strategy that we've adopted with automotive is to really think about the problem statement at the car level. And with electrification, every car architecture is being disrupted. It's moving from smaller microcontroller type processors to larger domain controller and high performance compute systems. A lot of transition towards intelligent software, a lot of transition towards integrating and centralizing functionality. In parallel, what automakers have realized is that they need to be able to own a lot of the software differentiation that goes into the vehicles themselves. So these two changes, as they intersect, these have created a tremendous opportunity for a company like ours, which is how do you rethink the product portfolio that we are building that serves the needs as automakers are changing? And by the way, this is a very interesting time because every single automaker globally is going through the same exact transformation. So we've seen this happen 5, 6, 7 years ago. We have positioned ourselves for it. We have made investments by ourselves. We've made acquisitions. For example, in the stack space, we made an acquisition a couple of years ago. We partner very broadly with the ecosystem because it takes a village in automotive to really be able to pull these things together. And a lot of those decisions have actually led us to become very relevant in what we call the Snapdragon Digital Chassis, which is a platform that automakers build on top of with a lot of flexibility.
Now, outside of automotive, Qualcomm has partnered with some of the top companies like Meta Platforms, Apple, and Microsoft. Is Qualcomm using a similar strategy by partnering with leading automotive companies? And who are some of those companies that use Qualcomm today?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think, for us as a technology player, what is very important is to partner with technology leaders. And I think Microsoft and Meta and others are obviously fantastic examples of those types of companies. I think with Microsoft, we've had a very long-standing relationship on compute, including very recently in the AI space, where we are doing a lot of work together with them as we expand with our Snapdragon compute platforms into the PC space. With Meta, again, very similarly, especially in the XR space, where there is a tremendous amount of opportunity with AI, with the brand new context, with brand new image context. There's a lot of work we are doing with Meta. I think with automotive, the big opportunity that we have had is to really work very closely with many key OEMs. BMW is a very large partner of ours. We have many public announcements with them. We made an announcement with Mercedes recently. We are in their new cockpit. General Motors is someone that we've had a very long-standing partnership with multiple decades now. But really, I would say, we pick many different partners for many differentiated work with. It's really global. We work with a number of companies in China. We work with many Japanese OEMs. And the approach that we take is we pick complicated technology transition areas. Driver assistance and automated driving is one. We will invest, we will jointly develop, we will build platforms together that will hit series productions. We will have business models with these companies that will allow us to build something together, co-invest, and then scale up. In other cases, we will invest heavily in building a very interesting cockpit experience that is very unique, sets the bar for what the market follows. So it really comes down to, a lot of thought leadership around two technology companies getting together, picking specific problem statements, and then making that the platform on top of which you experiment, you build, you exchange ideas, and then kind of take it from there. And I think it's been a very rewarding approach that we have taken.
So we're here at the Benzinga Titans AI Summit talking about artificial intelligence and the future growth, but AI is nothing new to the automotive. Can you share some ways that Qualcomm's already been utilizing AI within automotive and then some of the use cases maybe down the road?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think the best way to think about AI in the car is, first of all, what is happening outside of the vehicle. So, this is something that is widely understood in the industry today. Automated driving is one of the preeminent examples of AI at the edge. It is a very complex problem statement because, first of all, it is one of the few problem statements that requires safety to be paramount. You have to be able to make sure that you are actually improving the quality of the driving experience much better than what a human could do. And everything from robotaxis on down to just basic regulatory mandates require some form of AI. And this is a combination of taking camera sensors, radar sensors, LiDAR sensors, processing that data, analyzing it, labeling it, making a decision on it, and then creating a driver behavior, rather a car driving behavior or some actuation behavior. That has to all happen in real time. So very, very complex problem statement, heavily data driven, needs to continuously improve, has a significant geographic element to it. Every country is different, every regulation is different. And this is something that we've been working on for over a decade. So certainly a lot of experience inside the company in terms of what I would call real-time AI or applied AI in the context of automated driving. Then if you think about inside the vehicle, inside the cabin, this is where it gets really interesting, because if you think about it, the personalization aspects of AI, the car recognizing who you are, and then taking on a certain personality, whether it is simple things like settings or knowing what day of the week it is and what your habits are and thinking ahead for you. Those are all things that have all been done with AI. It just becomes more intelligent. So for example, the ability for you, the use case that I like the most is the ability for you to have a conversation with your vehicle in the context of something that happened. If you have your check engine light turned on, to have the ability to actually be able to have a conversation to figure out what, why, where do you take it. This is something that in the past would have resulted in, okay, you need to go call the leader and set up an appointment. You now have actually the ability to be able to get a lot deeper into exactly what is going on. The car has the ability to give you a lot of that information because AI is sitting at the edge. A lot of events can be tracked back. This is this approach where the experience will continuously keep improving because you are bringing more and more intelligence all the way down to the vehicle and to the driver. There are so many examples, whether it's driver monitoring, occupant monitoring, making sure that, if there is an occupant in the vehicle and the vehicle is locked, you have a pet, you bring the windows down, you set up the temperature such that you recognize who's inside the vehicle and you act accordingly. We are starting to see this really, we don't even really call it AI. It really is intelligence that you have to be able to deploy at the edge, which is a combination of taking camera information, taking video information, software context, combining it together, and then being able to build it all into an experience.
I love that use case of the check engine light and being able to talk to the vehicle. That's great. So speaking of use cases, I mean, NAKUL, there's so many. What is it that you're most excited about for artificial intelligence progress within Qualcomm?
Yeah. Look, I think it really is, I would answer it in two ways. I think, first of all, there is a horizontal aspect to it, which is that you want to be able to bring AI to the edge as broadly and as quickly as possible. And what that means is you have to be able to miniaturize AI models that are very relevant to the context that you are in, whether it's a text-based context or a text-to-image context or whatever it might be. And you have to be able to have the ability to go to the cloud when you need to, but also get your job done at the edge where that does serve the purpose, serve the privacy purpose, serve the use case purpose, the affordability that you have. But then I think the other piece that I am really very enthusiastic about is, search and Q&A becomes much more intelligent. The ability to create, there is a lot of content creation that is possible in really every environment. And as you combine things like, I want to have search, which allows me to be entertained, which allows me to be informed, which allows me to be more educated, that creates so many experiences for really everybody in any environment. We were talking to a customer yesterday who was talking about use cases where they want to have a mathematics tutorial service built into their seat entertainment, because that's an opportunity for kids to have an AI tutor. A pretty straightforward use case. Why not put it into the context and then actually build experiences around it? Just one simple example, but very powerful example that you should just be able to do in a pretty straightforward manner. I think in many other areas, which I actually really like, is the enterprise being able to take a lot of intelligence that they typically only have back in their cloud or back in their headquarters. How do you bring that into the product that you're deploying, that you're putting in the hands of people? And once you go do that, I like the virtual service advisor example a lot, because you can really make the value of the product shine if you actually provide a lot of information to whoever is at the edge, and you can take them down systematically. But where the search aspect of it is very intelligent. You ask a question, the question gets converted into context, you provide a response. As you get the response, you can add your next question, and on you go. So I think we are at the very beginning of this. I think it's going to be a combination of enterprises becoming intelligent in terms of how they actually build their products differently, how they deploy them differently. And then for us, what is very interesting is that it's this very symmetric engagement between what do you run at the edge, what do you run in the cloud, and how do they both handshake.
After all those examples, I know I'm excited about the future of artificial intelligence, and I hope our viewers are as well. I want to thank NAKUL DUGGAL, Senior Vice President and General Manager, Automotive and Cloud Computing at Qualcomm, for joining us at Benzinga Titans AI Summit. NAKUL, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to talking to you soon.
Thank you for having me, Chris. Good to see you.